like just a couple hours north of Seattle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, some people say the Canadian Vancouver. So, instead of
Yeah.
Vancouver, Washington, it's Vancouver, Canada. So yeah, man. Nice to talk to you guys.
Yeah. It's an honor, man. We grew up watching you on all the stuff you did.
Thanks, boys.
No lie,
Well,
you got me through school when I was younger. I used to watch Ed and Eddy. He used to air at like 6:30 to 7:30.
I
Would leave
love it.
the last minute to get to school to see you on Ed and Eddy. Every
Well,
morning.
thank you for being tardy, my friend.
Can you write me a note so I can get out a couple of the detentions I got from that?
Absolutely, yes, I will, for sure. Yes.
Thank you so much. We're gonna introduce you and then we're gonna get right into it.
Okay, sounds good, buddy.
All right.
Is my level okay?
Yeah, it looks amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Good, okay.
Today on the Matinee Ant Show, we welcome legendary voice actor Matt Hill. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Well, fellas, I'm clapping back. You guys, this is awesome. Thank you so much for having me. The little preamble we had beforehand, man. I love that. Like another example of how Ed and Eddy not only got you a note to get out of school, hopefully.
Hopefully. I hope they accept it. It's about 9 years late, but I hope they accept it.
But if Double D, if he would have been, your teacher, he would have been like, oh yeah, no problem. No, where's your assignment? I actually had breakfast with Sam, who plays Double D, as you know.
Yeah.
This morning, and he and I hadn't seen each other in a few months. Yeah, because he lives in Vancouver as well.
Oh, nice.
And so it was fantastic. He even jumped in on a cameo video that I had to do afterwards. So it was really cool, man.
That's absolutely awesome. We're definitely going to promote your cameo too when we post this video.
Thank you very, very much. Well, I feel man, what a once again, this show gets to help and inspire people again as well. So I'm very grateful, man.
Yeah, it's still my favorite cartoon of all time.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing, right? Because it's like this. It was kind of like this, like the little. It's not like the little engine that could, not meaning it couldn't get up over a hill, but it's more like the show that just kind of knocked it skyward, and has continued to this day. Like I love now, like I get lots of folks that are now having kids of their own that are like, dude. Ed and Eddy, it's in our house. We've shown them all. Like, so they're like, so like now these like little pint-sized little farts that are, like these 3 and 4 and 5-year-old are, watching Ed and Eddy. It's like, oh my God, it lives.
Wasn't it made on a dare, I heard too?
It was made on a dare?
I heard it was made on a dare because the creator was basically into adult cartoons. And they said, could you make a kid cartoon? And that's how Ed and Eddy came to life.
Wow. You know what? That is a piece of lore that I've never heard. But that might be completely true.
Because he had a show on MTV before I know Ed and Eddy.
Yeah.
And then I heard that someone was like, make a kids show and pitch it to Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network. And that's Ed and Eddy.
Okay. Well, it's funny. Me and Sam were both talking today about the genius of Danny Antonucci because, for real, he had like all those characters, all those scenes, all like the isms of the Eds in that world, in his head, and used so much inspiration from obviously from his own life and from family members, from people who were named certain, things and songs that, obviously resonated for him. That, it's amazing to now see it like in many respects live on and say us getting to talk to you guys and, kind of in a way share the experience 20 years later, it's
absolutely awesome.
Oh, it's wild, man. Yeah.
Is there any chance it'll ever come back?
Are you familiar with the band The Eagles?
Yes.
Remember when they said we will never get back together unless hell freezes over?
Yes.
Well, we're not like the Eagles because they did get back together. But yeah, I doubt it. I think it's one of those ones where I don't know. I just my senses. I think that it would be. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, call me
This
crazy,
was
but
the perfect send off. If that
well,
was the last thing
yeah,
that Ed and Eddie ever did, the movie was
exactly.
perfect. So,
Yeah, yeah. Thanks. Because like I say, right? It's to me that's where I have so much respect for Danny because I think ultimately, I think ultimately probably was his call to say, because I'm sure the network was going, dudes, the numbers are still, off the charts.
didn't that
Um,
movie break the record for Cartoon Network at that time
I
for
think
biggest
so.
movie premiere there?
I think so. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Because once again, I think it was this show that kind of came with the perfect timing, the way that things were, I guess how it kind of like broke new ground with,
Yeah.
say, animation, but also with just the style and just like the cast and like because all these like crazy characters that were created that are thankfully we're all like some of the best friends because we all a lot of us still live in Vancouver. And so we kind of already knew each other, but then once we got to be part of this posse of Ed and Eddie,
Yeah.
the level of like insane friendships just went like through the roof too, right? Because it's I don't know, it's kind of like being quarantined for 4 hours each week to record a show. You want to be quarantined because you get to hang out with some of the coolest people on the
Yeah.
planet.
So
you
what
know,
got you into voice acting?
say,
What got you into voice acting? Because to me, you're a
uh,
legend. Like your work you've done in voice acting, like you can't even compare.
just kidding. Well, thank you, man. It's legend. Wow, what does that mean? That's no. You know what I think is where I feel really grateful is because I've obviously I feel really grateful to have been invited to lend, say in this case, my voice and
Yeah.
my energy and my love for this craft to to some cartoons, I guess that a lot of people really love as well. So it feels like in my own slice of say like this, say with Ed, I'm like, oh my God, thank you for choosing me to play Ed. And a lot of the other shows that I've done, same thing, right? It's there's something that's so I think special about animation, and the art form of it, and the way that it actually really does have the power to help people say get through a tough childhood or get through a really tough family or just get through a really I don't know tough moment in school, right? Because
Absolutely.
all the characters, right? Everybody could relate to each other, right? There
Yeah.
was a Jimmy, there was a Kevin, there was an Eddie, there was a single D, there was a double D, there was a Canker sisters who all hung out together,
We all know a Canker Sisters.
you know. But don't say anything about my Sarah except I love her. That is
So when you got the Edda and Eddie job, what
yeah, yeah.
was that your like? Was Ed always you, or were you supposed to play someone else?
Oh God, sorry. Was that always me?
Was it always supposed to be you, or did they have you tagged as Eddie or a Double D or one of the
Oh
other characters?
my God, that's such a good question. You're asking good questions. Holy moly! You know what? I'm gonna go on a limb here, and I think from the beginning because this was also a record setter for us, at least in Vancouver, with the number of callbacks that we ended up having. And usually, you'll read for something, and if you do a pretty good job, they'll go like, oh, you know what? Let's bring him back and hear what else maybe he has to sound like. And then they would maybe say like, you know what? Yeah, that actually he'll be great for that part.
Yeah.
Let's bring him back again, but this time let's bring the rest of the cast. Or if they're kind of not sure about things, they might have a third callback.
Okay.
But with Ed, Ed and Eddie, I think we were like 8 or 9 or 10 official callbacks until finally we all kind of realized, oh wait a second, okay, well I'm still coming in for this one guy named Ed, and Sam and Tony came in for their guys, but then for a while they'd have another set of 3 people, and then they'd mix and match us a bit, and it was literally, and you know, we're also kind of all going like, oh my god, we're gonna die, we're gonna get fired, we didn't even get hired, but then we're gonna get fired, because like Danny's head was exploding because he so knew what he wanted this show to sound like. And so that I remember in the audition process, it was super fun, but it wasn't fun because it was more like, say the line, or if you, can I swear?
Yeah, you could swear.
Okay, or if you fuck it, you know, if you fuck it up, you basically get like out, and you're, you know, off in some, you know, never world of like voiceover land that never works again. For some reason, we felt like there was a lot riding on this.
Yeah.
And then as it went along, I remember like the three Eds especially, because then the three of us came back, I think 3 times, and it was just us. And you know, and like, you know, all the people from Cartoon Network are behind the other, like you guys on the other side of the glass, like they're all got their eyes closed, they're all, you know, this, and Danny's like just like pulling his hair out, and then you know, I remember for me, I knew the day I clinched it was, except once again, I thought I was going to get killed because as an actor, you never blow into the mic.
Yeah.
But out of desperation, this one audition, like towards the end, and I don't know why I did it, but I literally out of desperation, because he's going, he's not getting it, and I'm like, what am I supposed to get, right? And then I literally I went and I tapped the mic, so I see the engineer go like, what, right? And I go, how do you get water from this thing here, right? And Danny's like, oh my god, that's him, that's Ed, do that, right? And then I'm looking and I'm thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna get killed, right? Because the engineer's gonna kill me because I'm on the mic. Literally, and I thought that's what they were yelling at each other about, because I couldn't hear them, but Danny was going, did you record that? Because that's Ed. So, right, so the guy's like, yeah, I did, right? And so they played me the take, like, you know, how do you get water from this thing here? And that scored me the part of Ed, you know, because they went like,
did they have the character drawn out for you before, so you could kind of go at it to know what your voice should be for it?
Well, we had this really cool, we had storyboards.
Yeah.
So that's how old school Danny had this thing. It was freaking brilliant, because a lot of the time we'll just have a script for a show, but he felt so that we needed to also honor the writing and the drawing and the, you know, and the art form, that we literally had like these 60-page like sheets that came as our scripts. So we didn't get like regular scripts. We got freaking storyboards that were like heavy. So, you know, and I mean, the greatest gift for me, I guess, when we finally got the gig, and we started recording, they had that one, you know, blow in the mic thing, that they would always go back to that if I got out of character for, you know, so the first, you know, 13 episodes, it'd just be like, tell him to do it again. He's not doing it. He's not doing the thing. You know, and like Sammy, same thing. Eddy has his, you know, had his one-liner that they're just like, that's Double D, that's Eddy, you know, as well as for all the other characters, right? So, you know, it was super, you know, we definitely earned our 4-hour, you know, fee every 4 hours, but it was a, you know, it was a 4 hours that I cherished for the rest of my life. Absolutely. You know, yeah.
And then that you always wanted to do?
Is it what I always wanted to do? Yeah. You know, since I was a young kid, I mean, you guys are so young, that, you know, maybe your parents might have watched the show called Donnie and Marie Osmond.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Remember that? So I'm a kid in Canada. I'm watching this brother and sister, like, you know, sing and dance and act and have their own show. And the Partridge Family as well. That was because my brothers and sisters, they watched that show. And I'm thinking, oh my God, we need to, our family, we need to, you know, build a bus, start a band, go on the road. We could just be just like the Brady Bunch and all these other 70s shows. But I'd always wanted to, you know, I just always wanted to perform, you know. I always wanted to run, and I always wanted to perform. Because at my house, they called it monkey hour, because, you know, I also have, like, you know, hyper.
Me on the show, did you ever think that you would be so successful, or at the higher mark that you are now?
If I heard you correctly, did I always feel like I would be successful?
Did you see the success when like you joined Ed and Eddie? Did you see the vision right away?
Not at all. You know, because like you got to remember, right? We're a bunch of guys and gals up in Canada,
Yeah.
um, and you know, well connected to the world. I don't mean it like that, but meaning I like me personally. I wasn't really a huge computer guy, and I didn't play video games,
Yeah.
so I didn't sort of like have that inkling of like, holy shit, we have a lot of fans. Except for when the producers and then obviously the director would come in and be like, wow, well, you guys must be doing something right. We're number one and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Or, you know, we're like, we just thought like, oh, awesome. Okay, we're not going to get fired this week, you know? It was always this weird feeling of thinking like, if I fuck it up, we're going to get fired. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It keeps the energy going, but man, it's stressful.
You hear that a lot with like successful shows and movies. They didn't even know it was going to be successful at the moment. Like Jaws, everyone on there thought it would be a movie they could say they acted on, and literally is still one of the biggest movies of all time. 40 years later.
Man. Yep, absolutely.
But and probably on set got to really enjoy it at that current moment what it was going to be till later on.
Oh, you know what? And for me, like personally, because I didn't even go to fan conventions until like, God, my first one I went to in like 1998, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe. But even then, I still didn't really get it. I didn't understand because people were just like lining up, going like, "Oh my God, dude!" You know, Captain and the Game Master. Oh my God, Eddy, and just like you know, a few of these sort of like and some anime stuff, right?
Yeah.
That was like, oh, I'm like, dudes, it's just like it's Japanese anime, and they're like, oh no, it's not just Japanese anime. You know what I mean? Because us, what I mean by that point is we were just grateful to be actors and getting to continuing to just work.
Just
right?
have a job in general.
That was to have a gig was like the ultimate in being able to say, "Oh my God, I'm successful, Ma! I got a job." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I just happened to get a job where we like sweat our brains out, you know, and screaming and doing crazy voices, right? You know, but what a gift. But I really didn't get the aha moment till we went on our One for One Planet tour when we ran around North America.
Okay.
And literally that, boys, was when the nut finally dropped of going, oh my God, this show was so popular. Because, you know, kids that are like, you know, 2,000 kids in a school would lose their proverbial you know what when I'd be like, you know, hi everybody, it's Ed. Do you want to help me save the planet? And literally, you know, or like Raphael, right? Or Tenderheart, or you know, those three especially.
Yeah.
People, it was just like, oh my God, right? And then we realized, oh my God, we could teach them anything.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, I swallowed my excitement. But do you know what I mean? So it was shocking, but in such a shockingly good way, right? Because
it's one of those cartoons. You ask anyone around our age, they know it, they watched it, and they loved it.
Absolutely, dude. They know it, they watched it, they loved it. It was, you know, and so that's where in that way it's such a continued gift to be able to like this to talk to you guys, right? Because it's like you guys were like this. Well, you guys were you part of the first generation of it? You must have been then.
Yeah. I remember when it first hit. That was like the first Cartoon Network show I watched. Courage, Dexter, and all them. But Ed and Eddy got me fully on Cartoon Network.
Good choices, boys. Good choices.
My mom raised me well.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, but yeah, you know, and that's why I think I don't know. I just don't think they could I don't think we could recreate that again. You know, I think it's like Seinfeld. Sometimes you just gotta go. No, we're the top. Well, not to say we're Seinfeld, but you know,
every show that you love, you want it to be rebooted, but you don't want it to be rebooted and it was horrible.
Yeah.
It has to be the right script and the right everything. And I feel like like what you said with Seinfeld. If the ending didn't like get bad reviews like it did, I think they would be more inclined. But you guys went out the perfect way. The
Yeah. Well,
perfect
Danny
ending.
will.
Everyone loves Ed and Eddie at the very end of the episode, and they're considered heroes, except by
Absolutely.
Johnny and Plank. Or Captain
Yeah.
Melonhead. I should say Captain Melonhead.
Yeah. What's that?
The Captain Melonhead at the end, because he dressed up as Captain Melonhead at the end of the movie.
Absolutely, man. Oh yeah. Oh, it's one of those ones, man, where like I'm blown away that even like it was the one of the co-founders of Cameo. It's why he got in touch with me because he said, dude, Ed and Eddie was my childhood.
Yeah.
So it was another confirmation of going, you know what, people want to hear the voice, so do it, right? So it's so I'm like, okay, I will. So once again, it just feels like such a privilege to
As
get to
soon
do.
as we heard that we got you for the show, like of anyone we got so far, we probably overreacted the most about you, because literally from the ages of probably 8 to 13, 14, that's my whole life was watching Ed and Eddie. That and hockey.
Yeah, good. And you too?
I mean, to be honest, my heart is pounding right now. My heart is racing right now. I'm so honored to have you on our show.
Thank
To
you.
have you, to watch you as the amazing costume. Do you watch your show at all? Do you watch it at all?
Do I?
Watch your shows that you appeared on at all?
No, I just get weirded out. I mean, once in a while, I'll watch my my what do you call it? Let's say my demo video, and I'll just to have a laugh. Sometimes I'm like, shit, you know what? You're pretty good, man. Nice work, buddy. But yeah, no, I don't know what it is. I mean, the one show I will say I was super stoked to go to the premiere, and that was what do you call it? Tales from the Crypt. Because I got killed by Angie Everhart. And she kissed me to death, and then and then ripped my heart out with it. And so I was really excited to see that. And then Shanghai Nights, I really enjoyed watching that at the theaters. And believe it or not, I wasn't. What's up?
You were on X-Files too, I heard.
Yeah, and I mean, a few of the things like that. But yeah, I think I don't know. I mean, most of the time because I'm running so much of the time, so I don't tend to go to a lot of movies.
Yeah.
But and watch stuff. But like I say, when I do, I'm like, hey, all right, man, you're doing a good job, bud. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about making your own costume?
What should I call it?
The
Batman show. We'll team up and make our own cartoon show.
Let's do it. Why don't we call it? How about 3 dudes in a podcast?
Absolutely.
I'm in. I like it. High five.
What if we just animate this podcast the whole time, and that's how it's gonna go?
Brilliant. Let's do it.
You'll be our Ed McMahon, but you'll be a lot more successful than us.
Ed was pretty successful, wasn't he?
Hugely successful. Johnny was such a legend that he.
Tough to be Ed, isn't it? Oh yeah. Oh, totally, man. Oh yeah. Hey, so have you guys been interviewing like different people from different genres of the entertainment? Yeah. Awesome.
So, we just interviewed Baker Banner. They're like huge TikTok stars. And then we had Vince Papali for our first show. And he had the movie Invincible.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is good. Well, you're both good guys, man. So I could see why people, like you say, right? It's just like all you can ever do is just ask, and people, you reach out and don't be afraid, right? It's,
Well, it's so funny because, when we first thought about it, we were just doing it and doing all our friends.
Yeah, it was originally it's going to be all our friends, and then like I went on Instagram and it had like email, and I'm like, wait, like will they actually answer? And so like I'm like, let's just send a couple emails out. We'll see how it goes.
I love it.
And then I saw yours, and I'm like, he might not answer, but if we get Ed on the show, I can die happy. I can die happy.
I hope you're happy, but don't die. You just don't.
Yeah.
Just be happy.
If I do die, I want it on the tombstone. I interviewed Ed from.
You know what? I don't support that, there, friend. Absolutely.
So, do you got any current gigs coming up?
Right now, there's actually nothing new. It's been an interesting year and a half for this guy because a lot of I was doing we did 70 episodes of a show called Dinotrux,
and that was on Netflix, right?
Which is for me playing Tun. Him and Ed, I could have played for the rest of my life because those two characters I just love them. And then in the last, like I say, in the last year and a half, I've just been kind of really focusing also on now doing a lot of running and writing a book, kind of I guess in a way stories, lessons learned from my life. So it kind of encompasses this 30 years of acting, and in a different kind of a twist on it, in some of the ways that I didn't allow my opportunities when I was meeting, say, a famous person that I really had a lot of respect with. I was so shy, and I kind of would go and let them go by. So some of it's about stuff like that where you go like, you know what, you never know how somebody's gonna feel about them until you tell them, or if you meet them and say, man, you rock, dude, or you helped my life get this way, or so it's really focused on like obviously the power of kind of personal ownership of making a difference in the world. We're all here to give and to share our uniqueness, right? And so for me, it's being able to take this unique gift of doing cartoons for 30 years, and mix them together with my love of running, and then my love of people, and my love of being here on planet blue and green. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm sort of seeing, in a big way, maybe the bigger reason of why it's really quiet for me, say in terms of no new shows right now, is because I'm supposed to go in this direction. So that if I had a ton of other projects going on, I would be going, I can do that later. I'll just work again right now, right? So
absolutely.
It's to me it makes my heart happy, so that's the most important thing, right?
What motivates you to run or to do these cartoons or whatever you have going on? What motivates you?
I didn't. Can you add on that? Sorry, man.
He basically said, like, where do you get the motivation for everything you do, like voice acting, running, whatever else you do, like writing a book? Where does the motivation come from?
Thanks, man. Man, I've kind of felt, I don't know. I've felt called to the world.
Yeah.
Share in this way. I think in some respects, without sounding cheesy, since the day I hit the planet. Because even my parents said, dude, you were the whoops child. They were later in life. They both went, holy crap, you really had stuff to do, because I arrived a month early. I skipped crawling, went right to running the first day my mom had left the front door open on our house. Literally, I'm gone, right? She's like, Matthew, oh God, he's, gets a call from the police going like, do you have a young son? And he's on this little red tractor. She's like, that's my kid. And I don't know, man. I was like saying hi to people, blowing raspberries at people and saying, hey, how's it going? And I want to meet you and in a way, as a life path, bring people together.
Yeah.
because that's how I in all honesty, that's how I felt. Maybe that's part of what, makes me me, is because I really do love people, right? And I love when I maybe can say, you know what, maybe I can help this person understand each other a little better, and so, I mean, I'm not famous like that, but let's say I had taken a different path and I said, you know what, I want to work at the UN. I would be like the ambassador of like peace and goodwill, and like, you guys, let's just get together and like be together. I'd be that guy. you know?
Well, you were talking
Yeah.
about your book. Do you have a release date yet for it, or?
Yes, the plan right now, my birthday is on the 19th of January, 2021.
Okay.
And I started it on January 19th, 2020. So I gave myself a year to scribe this little bad boy, because I got a lot to say, but then now, as every book, then you got to edit.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a whole bunch of marathons right now to finish, because the last chapter of the book is called 21 Days of Discovery and Beyond. And so I'm going to finish this next set of marathons. Then I'm going to write that chapter, and then I'm going to go back to the middle of the book where I know I finished off, where I needed to sort of start from.
Yeah.
And then I'll start from the middle again and go there. So I basically got half complete. I felt like 6 months for the first half, 6 months for the second half.
Yeah.
Throw it into the world, see what happens.
Definitely let us know as soon as it's out, and we'll promote it.
Thank you.
We got you.
I would be honored to send you both a copy.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
What motivated you to have your book out? Or what drives you to say, you know what, I need to have a book out right now? Or
What drove me, what was my motivation to say I want to put a book out now? Yeah. It's wild, dude. I kind of feel like in some respects, why should I wait till someone might want to say write a book? I don't know. I read books about people that I'm really inspired by, and I often feel like, what would it be like in their shoes? I want to, because I'm so moved by reading something that say moves somebody. So I feel like, okay, well, if I'm moved that way, then maybe people who kind of get what I got thrown out there, maybe they'll get inspiration from what I got to say as well. Because I mean, what I have to say, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm not the I'm not the best at anything.
Yeah.
What I think I have is I got a big energy reserve. I love people. I love this planet. I want to make an impact of positive while I'm here, as well as I've turned a lot of life challenges as well. Because I'm just like you guys, right? We've all been living long enough that life sometimes also takes you down roads where you just go like, oh, that was a big lesson. Holy crap, right?
Absolutely.
But we learn from those, and so I want to take that into the world, and even more so now, I want my message to be able to reach, say, kids or big kids at heart, right? That really lets them know that, you know what, you totally matter, and that, you know what, this world needs you just exactly who you are and how you are. You don't have to be any different. Just be yourself, right? It's really, that's kind of that in its most simple form, right? Sorry, that was a bit of a convoluted answer, wasn't it?
No, but like I definitely think like a lot of people will be interested in the book, because even if they don't recognize the face at first, the voice, whether it was Ed and Eddy, the animes you did, the appearances you did, everyone has heard your voice at least once.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, hey? Kind of in a way embracing the fact, going like, man, if I could get it out in audiobook, maybe.
Do it in all Ed voice.
Yeah. This is well, maybe we'll do just that.
We don't need any credit for that idea, but
okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hold on, Marie. Credit to the boys. Okay, yeah. Okay, she got it down.
I would be honest. I don't want to keep them back. I just didn't go going to be all that interview that we have on the show. I just want to put that out there.
Absolutely. I agree.
Can you reiterate one?
This is a favorite interview we've done so far.
Aw, fellas, wow. Thanks, boys. This is
Honestly,
one of my
it's been
favorite. You know,
honest, 'cause even in adulthood, there's times I'll go on YouTube and Eddy will pop up. I'll just knock out like 5 episodes, and I'll think I'm like 12 years old again watching that.
but that's the beauty of it.
Didn't realize what they were saying when they were younger, and it's like low key, shouldn't have been in a cartoon, but
Isn't that crazy? I know. Like
Ralph would say these things.
oh, when you know, and that's funny. Funny you talk about Ralph because like Peter Kalamas is one of my besties. He's just such an amazing human being and such a talent that for him to do Rolf that way,
Yeah.
to this day, oh my God, they could never cast another person to play Rolf. Like it's insane.
You know what the inspiration was for that? Like all my friends, we always wonder, like, where is Ralph supposed to be from?
Oh my God, I have no idea. Yeah, anywhere it was, it probably was like Eastern Europe. It was probably no, I have no idea.
He like acted like he was 40 and he was only like 13 years old.
I know, but once again, right? That's the beauty of that show because even though we had to religiously stick to the script and religiously honor the pauses and honor the punctuations, there was still in that there was so much of us that were allowed to play.
Yeah.
That you got performances like that from Peter being able to play Ralph like that, right? It's and in a way having to stick to the script and that tight format like that actually allowed us to play, and I think a lot of that magic. That's why it made it so good, and why it holds up today to so many, others. During the classics, I get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's yeah.
I know you do a lot of runs. You mentioned that you do a lot of runs. Do you have a favorite one or a memory of one that?
Do you have a favorite like run you've done, like I guess like place you've ran before, and like?
Thank you for that question. On Run for One Planet, because we ran across Canada and then around the perimeter of your fine country.
Okay.
And we did it at 6 miles an hour. So imagine being on the road for 369 days. And not only from, say, Vancouver to St. John's, Newfoundland in our country, every province was like a different country because it's so different and diverse.
Okay.
America, same thing. Every state that we ran through, going around like down each side and along the bottom and through the back to the West Coast, there was like, I could talk to you for an hour on a sunrise in Maine on an October morning that I'll never forget because it actually made me. I remember just going like, oh my God, I just saw God or whatever, you know what I mean? Or that, cause it's just this golden moment before the sun just kind of came up where we were, where I was running along and then other times, like in some of like the crappiest cities, all of a sudden I'd be running along cause I had a lot of time to run, a lot of time to think. I'd all of a sudden just like stop and look down, like say over, on an overpass or something. And like out of all this sea of concrete, you'd see like a little deer and its mom in this little patch of grass or, greenery kind of just there. And I'd be like, oh my God, this world is so beautiful,
Absolutely. Sometimes you need that. Like you don't realize you need it that much, but.
Oh, absolutely. Like in Big View, the East Coast, like when they told, oh my God, wait till you go through there in the fall, like with the leaf count color and all this, like in on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Dudes, it's like jaw dropping. It's so beautiful, right? And for me, like when we ran probably through the South as well, that dry desert was for like about 2.5 months. And then I'll never forget the day that we were nearing California because somehow the wind blew differently and it came from the coast. Yeah. So literally this mix of like spinach fields and like and, you know, dusty agriculture,
Yeah.
literally whipped with this smell of ocean air. And I knew, I'm like, oh my God, California's just right up there. You know what I mean? It was just, you know, like the smell of like, you know, oranges and, you know, grapefruit trees and stuff like that. It's just, oh my God, it's amazing. How
I
can you
was
tell?
telling him about that. Like, I went up the California coastline one time,
Oh,
and
it's
I'm like,
magic.
it's long, but like, if you can do that once in your lifetime, it's
Oh,
absolutely worth it.
completely agree with you. You know,
It's so
you know,
much different stuff
oh,
as you go
it's,
from LA up to
yeah,
Rancho Cucamonga, Anaheim, then up to San Fran, Oakland, and then
oh,
Sacramento. All
oh,
those.
it's magic.
Yeah.
It's magic. There was a spot in San Luis Obispo where the road 101 goes right onto the, like, literally you're touching the ocean.
Yeah.
And there was I remember this field, and there was these baby cows that I just thought was so cool, because all of a sudden these cows were like in the back of the field. So imagine, like, you know, they're all like young ones, so they're all like my size, right? And there was probably maybe a couple hundred of them. It was like one of them went, "Hey guys, look, there's a human!" So all these cows just like and ran towards me, right? And I'm at the fence going, "Hey guys, how's it going?" Right? So I literally spent like 10 minutes with these cows going like, "Oh, God, he doesn't smell like you, but God, what is it? What is it? Is it a human? Is it a, what is it?" Right? And I just thought, because I stunk so bad because I'm sweating.
Yeah.
But it was, to me, it was the metaphor of like kids have that energy of, oh wow, because they still believe in Santa Claus. They still believe in, you know, the power of like the superhero to change the world,
Yeah.
right? Whereas the cows, if you go backwards a half a year, and we were running across Canada, and all the fields were with like there was some older cows in the field. They've already learned humans bad, right? Because I'd see a cow, or, you know, cows would be like in the field going like, you know, and then all of a sudden it only took one, right? And they're like, huh? And then and they're like running as far away from you as they can.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like the difference.
Yeah, you mentioned that you worked for a very long time. And while you're running, do any ideas come in your head? Maybe, you know,
Did while I was running,
Did you get any ideas for like shows or anything that just pop in
oh,
your head?
all up here, boys. Oh yeah, I mean, we've been actually developing a cartoon that's loosely based on my life, and then also partly based on our Run for One Planet as well, which essentially is, you take a young boy who's like crazy, like so much more energy than anybody can handle.
Yeah.
That was me. Who loves doing stunts, loves running everywhere, runs like, and essentially, I don't know, me as a kid, then wanting to, you know, in a way help the world, but also get out of the place that he lived in. Because I lived in a small town, right? So it's kind of that kind of story. But then all of a sudden he gets, you know, he gets blown over by a pair of like this storm comes in, you know, gives him these superhero powers. And when he knows he's in superhero power, he's got these shoes, these like magic running shoes that help him go and, you know, help kids in other parts of the world that are struggling
That
and
sounds
stuff.
awesome.
So it's yeah, it's called Matt Faster and the Planet Posse. So so it's you know, and so we've been developing it for a while. It's you know, I think it's probably a year or two away, I think, before I, you know, I think I'll do this next bit of running, and then, you know, get the book out. If anybody really likes it, then I'll, you know, write another. I'd really like to write. I'd like to write a kids book, um, and then I think then I'd be ready to sit down a little bit and, you know, maybe develop the Matt Faster and the Planet Posse.
Well, we have no doubt that the book's going to hit on.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate that.
it's amazing, you know, you learn and you do all these amazing hopefully shows you well and well. You know, it kind of self-suggestion for me that you you begin honestly about your life.
Or
Not
loosely based off his life.
a bit on your life, correct? What, do you see it be as successful as or anything that you've done so far?
Basically, he was saying, like, you think that your idea could have the success that Ed and Eddy did.
Or any other show for that matter.
Well, thanks, guys. I kind of feel like it's interesting because I think that's why I've always almost in a way trusted in the timing. And
Yeah.
that's where I agree with you. I feel, well, I mean, not that I've ever said, oh my God, this is going to be like Ed and Eddy. But I think it's sometimes with timing for things, the I don't know, the consciousness of us human beings. I think in some respects we're craving, and it's not about politics. It's not about um, coronavirus. It's not about, it's kind of about, I think in a way right now, I personally believe that all of us as humans, we're asking ourselves, how do we go to this next stage? And how do we go there actually getting along? And how do we go there actively evolving all and recognizing that we have differences, but actually growing enough as humans that we don't beat the shit out of each other and kill each other, because I don't know, for some reason we find it really hard not to do that.
Yeah.
Right. And I think right now in this world, that's why my passion projects are kids, because I just know they're looking to us adults to show them a good way and show them that they really, really matter right from day one. You know what I mean? Not like, well, no, wait till you get a graduate degree in post-secondary education, then you'll have a voice. No, it's sorry, go ahead.
Would that mean that you mentioned that you were okay and again I don't want to speak on that, but I think you help a lot with your shows that you on, and it got me through a lot, Do you ever think about that?
Like the impact you had on kids now, adults, and probably kids right now currently that are watching reruns of everything you did.
Oh yeah, and and it's wild. Thanks, boys, because that's why I say I don't take it lightly when someone says, "Oh my God, you're the show that you were on." In this case, some of these characters that I got chosen to play. That's a big deal to me, because it makes me really actually realize, one, it wasn't just about just getting another gig. That was never really the key for me either, even though, yeah, I was an actor, so I'd really like to just keep acting. Right. But so that was the low hanging fruit. What the large abundant fruit basket has been is all these ways that people have been able to share back with me, saying, dude, your work really, really helped. It really helped me get in through life sometimes, or really, I mean, like, oh, man, like, the number of times like people came up on, on the tour on Run for One Planet, saying like for real, you helped me because I was getting bullied by six people at school, and I felt like a loser, but watching Ninja Turtles, like, yeah. I believed in the code of the turtle, and Raphael really taught me to just like help old ladies cross the road and just be a really decent human being to other people. Right. And then, like I say, with Ed and Eddy, that's like, that was a whole other level as well, because it makes you realize it's not just like this group that say we were in front of or whatever, but millions of kids around the world were being impacted, like, say, by this, by this crazy, amazing show, So that's the part it took me. It wasn't until we went out, like I was saying, on our Run for One Planet tour that I really finally allowed, like, I allowed to just accept the gift that people were wanting to share with me, saying like, dude, that was a big deal in my life. Right. Cause you know, like I never wanted to come across saying to people, oh, look at me, look what I've done. It's just like, hey, that's just so boring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was by doing something that I really believed in this case, running around the planet, but it was also then being authentic in these voices that I was asked to play, absolutely catapulted our ability to speak to people, right? And have like a full. I'll never forget this one middle school in Houston, Texas, and their whole mandate with these schools, they're called what are they called? They're like a charter school, and their whole mandate is in the toughest, lowest income neighborhoods in town. They take these kids and they feed and water and house them, and their whole mandate is to keep them in school from kindergarten all the way through to graduation, right? So in this case, you get like 2,000 people. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, sorry. And I'll never forget this one. So it's like 2,000 kids that are all sitting there like this, like military style, because they had to run it kind of strict so that these kids learn, respect and self-respect and how to listen. But the second I had I remember saying to Steph, my partner, going like, oh my God, okay, I'm gonna do Ed. We're either gonna get the golden ticket or we're gonna get tossed, right? So I'm like, hey, Winston Charter School, who wants to save the planet with Ed and and Stephanie? And literally 2,000 kids lose their nut. And this African American teacher who was the vice principal, and he used to be in the NBA. He told me afterwards. He was about 7'5". He's like, oh my God, man. It's just like, he's so into it that afterwards he comes up and, all the kids used to line up and we'd give them autographs and stuff. And this guy, I'll never forget, he was the very last. And he came up to me and he literally wrapped me in the biggest bear hug. Actually gave me a chiropractic adjustment. So it was awesome. And he literally he had a tear in his eye, and he said, brother, I really, really need you to know Ed, and Eddy and the Ninja Turtles helped me get through the roughest childhood. And that's all he said, but he had a tear in his eye. And he said, because I decided to live by the turtle code and then also come home and laugh with Ed, and Eddy, it's partly why I chose to become a teacher, which then partly obviously then why he chose to then run this school for 2,000 kids, right? So I got this unbelievable confirmation of how important doing this show and some of these voices was able to then share to then help inspire, this other group of people, right? I mean, absolutely. So like talk about a positive feedback loop, right? They're saying thank you to me, and I'm going, no, thank you to you. Right?
I was looking through your credits, and I also saw you did NBA Street.
Maybe.
Are you a huge basketball fan or sports fan in general, or?
I'm a big sports fan. Dudes, I'm 5'5.5". I have no hand-eye coordination. Okay, so that's the big one. Hand-eye coordination. Me in basketball, we weren't very good. But I love watching it. But like when I tried to try out for the basketball team, that and the football team, both the coaches are like, love your enthusiasm, you suck. So I stopped running. So, and soccer. Yeah, but yeah.
Going back to that story you did, so amazing. But you ever think about your story, and I would like to work with one of my friends or somebody that can be, and you really help me through it. Did you ever think that maybe I could work with them one day on a project? or would you ever think about doing that?
Right.
You ever think about like collaborating with anybody like that you met that like said they inspired you very highly and like basically in a way doing their story kind of in a way like how you
Yeah.
affected them and how they the results that came from it?
No, not only. I think only because I don't know. I guess like I think if I don't know, like if I had been asked to say do a TV talk show or something,
Yeah.
and they said, you know what I mean? Okay, we want it to be about you and your life, and you're going to interview people that your life has inspired. It'd be kind of, I don't know, it'd be kind of hard for me personally, not because I don't love, I guess I've always felt like I get the gift because people have felt, uh, they felt like they could share with me maybe something I've helped them, you know, maybe feel inspired by. But I don't know. I don't know. I guess I don't know if it's being a humble Canadian. I have no idea. I don't even know if that's even the right word, but I don't know because I feel like my job, I think, is to continue to just be me and do what I'm doing. And if that inspires people, that's because that's really all I can, that's all I can be in control of, I think.
Yeah.
You know, because so much in the rest of the world is just changing so fast. It's like, you know, in a good way, but also in a really, holy moly, you know, things are at a rapid pace. And like me and technology, it's like brutal. Like I learned how to press the Zoom button, boys. I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We want to congratulate Matt Hill on learning how to use Zoom
I
today.
graduated. Tomorrow I'm gonna run my own Zoom channel.
I've been trying to go off it, but I'm gonna say it. Yeah, I was doing with you.
Can you have a drink with you?
Can I have a drink with you?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna do a big trip up to Canada and have a drink with you.
Oh, fellas. Yes. When you guys come to Canada, you must come to Vancouver. We must. We must have a beer. We must. I mean, because I'm Canadian, so you know, I like beer. You know, it's, and I like hockey as well. You know.
What's your team? You a Canucks fan or?
I am. I'm a fan of every team. I know I sound really flaky saying that, but I just love sports. You know.
I'm excited. Canada's
Yeah.
gonna be hosting the playoffs this year.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, huh?
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna weigh in on how I feel about things yet because I just don't know how it's gonna go. So you know, all we can do is good on them for trying to get this for trying to get this stuff going while we're still in COVID. And at the same time, wow, what a tall order, man. So you know, you don't know till you try.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did you go to a lot of games before the pandemic?
Am I?
Did you go to a lot of games?
A lot of Canucks games.
What's your
Yeah.
favorite all-time Canuck?
I love Stan Smeel
I was a
because
good
he was
one.
like when I was a kid, the steamer. Yeah.
The one I grew up
And
from was Marcus Naslund.
oh, now it's like, well, he's such. Oh, I mean, Marcus was such an ambassador for the team too. I mean, it's just. I mean, talk about like a nice guy, and and also too the Sedins. Like they live in my neighborhood. They're just like.
Oh,
So I see them. I see him running all the time, but I turn into like a 10-year-old again. I'm like, just like you know, Trevor Linden.
Let's get him in the Hall of Fame next year.
Oh, I
They
know.
definitely deserve it.
That's where I would just be like, you know, fellas, yes, you know, but you know, Trevor Linden and his wife live around the corner from me, and I still to this day, I see them and I'm like, hey guys. You know.
Do you have a favorite cartoon as a kid?
Do I have a favorite?
Cartoon?
Ed, Edd and Eddy.
I mean from your childhood.
from my childhood, I freaking loved Mighty Mouse. I don't know why. I just loved it. I just thought maybe you recognized me. I have no idea. But I also loved what was that one? I loved Josie and the Pussycats. I thought that was such a cool. Anything that had music and stuff like that, I was totally in. You know, it was good. Yeah, and I mean, it wasn't a cartoon, but I really loved I loved the '50s version of Superman. That guy.
I kind of wish they did more of those type of shows now. Like they do them with like the Flash and all that, and Arrow, but they don't do like Superman or Batman type shows anymore.
Yeah, well, I guess I don't know. I don't know. There's so much programming, but yeah, no. But I'd say like Mighty Mouse for sure. I always got pissed off at what do you call it? Roadrunner. Because I'm always thinking like every freaking time he's gonna go over. What are you doing? You're gonna die again. But I can never figure out why he didn't die.
That's how it was with Edda and Eddy with your scams. Like I really wanted your scams to work out every show, just so you could get the jawbreakers.
We did too. Oh, I know. We're all searching for that big jawbreaker in the sky, aren't we? Yeah.
I just love that. That's like the candy of like any candy it could have been chosen. It's the most appropriate because I saw a jawbreaker before, and when I saw it for the first time, I'm like, it's not as big as some of this.
No, exactly. I know. Oh, I totally.
And even like a regular jawbreaker, how do you get that in your mouth?
I know. It's just like, yeah. I know. I think they brought some to the studio once, and I put it in my mouth for like 10 minutes, and I was just like,
With that being said, do you have a favorite candy?
Oh, I love frozen Twix bars. I love Twix, but I also love. I'm trying to think of the one. They're mint chocolate. Do you guys have Ritter Sport in America?
I don't think we do, but I've heard of them though. I did hear of them.
I put them in the freezer, and they're just so good. I put them in ice cream, and it's just like so good.
That's awesome.
What's your favorite ice cream?
Ice cream, vanilla, classic. Just classic, man. But good vanilla, not crappy ice cream, but just like like Breyers,
Yeah.
I love Breyers. Oh yeah, she's a beauty for sure. Can I get your guys' address? Because if you're interested, I could send you a couple of 8x10 Ed pictures.
Awesome.
Hey, would you guys like an Ed? Here, have an Ed.
We'll sign off and then we'll send you everything. And
okay, please do, yeah, because it's an honor to talk to you guys, man.
Thank you so much, man. We greatly appreciate it. We want to
thank you, boys.
Matt Hill for being on the Matt and Ann show today.
Yeah!
You guys are awesome! Oh yeah! Whoop whoop! Up!
Matt and Ann show.
Yeah!